Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your Center of Political Analysis in both East, Central Africa, and the world. As you know, I always speak a lot and analyze about South Sudan, but also about the region. When we have political commentators or analysis that we need to do and put forth there, we always keep you informed and try to, as much as possible, give you real natural thinking of the events that are occurring around the region of Eastern Africa. South Sudan today, again, I'll talk about South Sudan. South Sudan, since a short history of being born, has undergone a lot of challenges in as far as conflicts is concerned. You know, when we had this country, when most of us voted as refugees in foreign lands, we had a lot of hope. Our fathers and liberators had finally liberated a land for us. The pride that you could see in South Sudanese, regardless of where they came from, across the country, and even those outside, embraced each other as brothers and sisters. I remember in 2005, I was a young boy then, when Dr. John Grang de Mabur signed in Nyayo Stadium, Kenya, the CPA. It was a moment like no other. South Sudanese cried, women wailed. In fact, there are people who say, even if I died at this very moment, my goal has ever achieved. It was a beautiful goal. It was not just us who were happy as South Sudanese, the rest of the world were happy for us. The joy of seeing our people who have lost millions, 2.5 million or more, dying in the war, in the course of war, in only 21 years. The longest war in Africa then, civil war in Africa then, had come to an end, and everybody was rejoicing. It was a moment that nobody could ever think that we South Sudanese will ever forget. Second to that, we had the referendum of 9th January 2011, a moment that brought joy again. Most of us voted. I voted, I remember. At this time, I was a university student. I was ready, like all the other South Sudanese Kenyans. We were discussing on how we will go back home and give back to the country that we so much loved. How we will reconnect with our families, because most of us grew up without our families. Be with them again, try to recall our childhood memories, and try to see how we can live again as a nation, as families, and like any other person in the world. Beautiful life, you will think. And then July 9th, 2011 came again. We had our independence. Many people again even said that even if I die today, so be it, because I have achieved my dream. In fact, some of the South Sudanese leaders today, at that time, made some proclamations. One of them is the president of South Sudan, Salva Kiir Mayardit, on his independence speech. Was so happy and welcomed the world to rejoice with the young nation, saying that they will ensure that they will make South Sudan great among nations. True to their joy, they deserved it because they fought for the freedom. They are our liberators. Or should I say they were our liberators? Because today we feel so disappointed with our liberators. I would say I am somehow so disappointed because we had so many dreams to go and give back to this country. Now we are at our productive age. The lost boys and girls, watch the video. If you do not watch it, I did the video of the lost boys and girls who are still scattered globally. They cannot go home. They cannot go and produce because they are now at their productive age where they have knowledge, they are learned, educated, but they cannot go back home. Many of them cannot. Especially those who find themselves not to be in the government side cannot go back home because they fear for their lives, Very unfortunate. Those events of 2013 changed everything. And this event have shaped the life of South Sudanese for the last few years. There are those who are in the government who feel safe, protected, But sometimes when the challenges come in also, like the economic challenges that divide everybody, then everybody cries. And then there are those who feel that they are pushed aside from the government because they were killed in 2013, door to door. An unfortunate event that occurred that has made life so difficult for South Sudan today. Any peace that is signed is always met with challenges. The 2018 peace agreement still stands today, but on a thread. On a thread because I say, as I do this video, grantors of this peace or peace partners are rounded, arrested, humiliated, and arrested simply because they are from the Nuer, the so-called IO, SPLM-IO. Within this SPLM-IO, people are arrested. I mean, there are so many nationalities within SPLM-IO, but only the Nuer are arrested. Can you imagine this? When are we going to have a country, our liberators? Do you know what you are doing to us? My generation and the generation to come. It is so unfortunate, and I feel that it is heartless of you. Do you feel that you want to go back and go down with the country because you are growing old? You do not want to leave us any piece of it, or what is it? Do you want it to be disintegrated and leave us again to negotiate other peace agreements? You know, Abel Alier said it very well, that so many disagreements were disagreed in South Sudan, were dishonored, in the Sudan and South Sudan before. Is it what we want to transport and import to South Sudan? To make so many agreements and dishonor them? Well, the video today, ladies and gentlemen, I started it on a very sad note, on a very hard note like this, giving some advices, trying to take us down the memory lane of history, where we are coming from. Because there is an event that occurred towards the end of February and the beginning of March in a place called Nasir, towards the Ethiopian border. Destruction of life occurred. A destruction of life that could have been prevented. I have seen so many commentaries about this, both in the local and international media, many of which I feel should be sieved, because some just see the superficial things. And of course, truth to this, they cannot be blamed, because most of them are not South Sudanese. And those who are South Sudanese do not want to speak the truth because they fear either they can be closed or censored as the media houses. So I'm here to try and give you the raw facts as they happened. The conflict in Nasir happened like this, ladies and gentlemen. There had been rumors around the month of January and also February that there will be disarmament being carried out throughout South Sudan, that the government will take arms from civilians. Remember, we're just coming from war. And that when the peace agreement was signed, the peace has not been going, it is stalled, does not go through. So nothing is going through. The army has not been unified. And for that reason, when the army is not unified, if there is somebody with a gun, they still have it, because there's fear that if anything happened to me and the army is not unified, who will protect me? The question of protection is very important in this aspect of this conflict, the war that just happened, or the conflict that happened in Nasir. So when you talk about the disarmament as a government and you do not prepare your people, what do you expect? This is exactly what happened. Agulwek forces, Agulwek and Abishok, sorry if I did not say the names correctly, groups or youth groups who belong to the Dinka and Shiluk are rounded together and put in boats, given uniforms in the name of the army to go and disarm or remove the arms of their fellow youth in Nasir and Wulang counties. This is not received well. So in the first days when the army was coming from Malakal towards Nasir and Wulang, the youth of these two groups said we will not allow this. They mobilized themselves and go and meet the South Sudan army coming to come and disarm them. So many exchanges on social media, the leaders talking so tough that we will do this and all that, not knowing that these youths are just like any other protecting themselves. So they come, and when the war was really going to be a big one, the government actually, I think, realized it, that it was not a good idea, and even took a good strategy and tried to get the government of Upper Nile to come and talk to the youth and tell them how best they can go about this. But when the youth go to a place called Dome in Wulang County, they are bombed on the day in the morning when they are supposed to meet their governor. They are bombed by gunship. Can you look at this lunatism? Provoking them even more, and they were hungry. So what did the youth do? They decided that they will not do anything more but fight now to protect themselves and their families and their lives and the land and where they live in. The government kept insisting that I'm the government and I will do what I want. Try to push as much as they can. Remember, the youth in their mind know very well that they cannot demonstrate and hold placards and papers saying the government is doing this and this to us. Because the government has made it clear in Juba and to all South Sudanese that there are no rubber bullets or tear gas in South Sudan. A national minister saying this on the national television, and leaders without any shame coming out and speak those words in the public. What do you expect from we, the younger generation? From people who have never gone to school, never seen a class, that the government have failed to set up schools in their areas so that they can go to school and learn and be able to become informed citizens. What do you expect from them? Their gun is their only security and the only thing they understand, the only knowledge that they can know. And this is true all over South Sudan, not just in Nasir, not just in Wulang County, all over South Sudan. So the government, instead of having an informed DDR program, a disarmament program that they have done a research on, they have brought experts from outside South Sudan, or just use the expertise for in South Sudan, because I believe there are so many South Sudanese who are good, learned, and can do proper disarmament, even in the army. But they choose the wrong way, trying to show that we are the men, that we can do this, trying to silence the youth, or trying to create an aspect of trying to silence the voices. These things in a place like South Sudan cannot happen, because South Sudan is an nilotic majority. It cannot happen. You do not act to these people like this. And furthermore, these are people who are traumatized, who have been in war for many years, who still have wounds of war. In fact, the war of 2013 still have wounds. These counties faced a lot of challenges and lost a lot of people. So there's a army in Nasir. So when this war continued, let me continue to finish it. This is war just started like this. The army, the government did not want to back down. They decided, okay, they will move back. The army that was coming with the ship. They exchanged some fire here and there, and the youth were bombed by a gunship and shielded by heavy artilleries. Your own people, the youth, your own young people who fought for the country to liberate it, being shielded with heavy guns that should be used to defend them from enemies that are attacking the country from outside, where they can join even with the army to protect their nation. It is unheard of, shameful. So the youth then go back when they are there. The guys in Nasir, whether the army there, within that since 2014, March 2014, I've been fighting them. was stationed there now, started fighting them. What would the youth do? They had to react to protect themselves. And this time, because they are hungry, and there have been wounds that they have been keeping to themselves for all these years, since 2014, reportedly there have been a lot of killings in the area, extrajudicial, murders, rapes. Their women are taken, like children killed here and there. Every month, according to reports of this youth, there's no single day that the single month that they go without 2 or 3 people dying, being killed by the army. So I think they were so sad that they did not know what to do anymore and decided to do a suicide mission. Because that's what I would call it. Well, I do not see a reason why people with the Kalashnikov AK-47 will go and fight people with guns, big artilleries, like SAM-7. And tanks. They moved in and they fight. One of the leaders was killed and his head was cut by the army. This thing angered even the youth even more, because they said this is not even an honorable killing. And they went on now to fight until eventually the army is defeated. Most of them ran away, are scattered. Those who got killed. And the general was in one of the tanks. And for 3 days, they spared his life, until there's some way of truth where they said that it need to be taken away from Nasir. He's finally taken away. Sorry, some of his officers are taken away, but him is not taken. In the first day, evacuated. But remember, there's still a lot of anger in this youth, because I saw a statement by the United Nations mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, condemning the youth for killing the general, because the general was finally killed on an exchange where his bodyguards had opened fire on the youth when he was being evacuated, and the youth retaliated. He started shooting back with the anger again. In the process, the general got killed with the UN staff, UNMISS staff. So UNMISS, out of that anger of their staff being killed, rightly so, they should be angry. But I feel like in this case, UNMISS should have been neutral, impartial, like all the UN always do. All right? You have to be sure that fighting has stopped for you to offer humanitarian help and everything else. Or not go on the front line. There's no mandate that tells you to go on the front line anywhere. Unless you have been told, okay, there is a genocide going on or something that is really going on that's not good and you are going to prevent it. But these are human soldiers that will go there, not civilians, not pilots. And an operation will be done. But these youth who are acting on self-defense in their own land to protect their own dignity and their lives are being termed criminals. These are words that we need to choose. Even if we are international community, we have to be very careful. Because these are human beings just like you. You have your own homes, your own countries. You cannot call them criminals in their own land. In fact, the person who is killing them in their own land, who is their government, should be blamed. Should be blamed. Blamed for killing South Sudanese, for ensuring that instead of solving things amicably in a good way, engineering war to set people against people. The army against, thinking that they will finish those people. You can never finish people. It doesn't work. So UNMISS should have blamed the government, because who is to blame in all this? It is the government of South Sudan, squarely to be blamed, to take the blame, 100%. This one without any coverage, sugarcoating, like it is being sugarcoated by the international media, saying it is forces allied to Riek Machar and all these, Riek Machar, the vice president, and all this. These are all nonsense. I'm sorry to use this word. Don't always try to make that mix of saying Riek Machar and the Nuer and all this kind of thing. No, there's nothing like Riek Machar here. Riek Machar is a peace partner, is in Juba. His house is surrounded by Salva Kiir by the president and the government in this situation because they think that he's the one who is engineering everything. Until they realize that this guy has nothing to do with it. In fact, Riek Machar was spending days trying to talk with the army and his group to try and tell the youth to stop the fighting and allow the government, the government to go on the ground. Riek Machar, indeed, in this case, is in the side of the government. With the government, they are together. They are the same government. All right? And the same government go and turn and want to blame Riek Machar. I am not a party to the SPLM-IO where Riek Machar belongs. But this must be told that that's wrong. If people are arrested, and who are being arrested? Look, listen to this. Only the Nuer of IO are arrested. The government, what is happening? Do you want the Nuer to leave South Sudan? Don't you know that the Nuer fought for the independence of South Sudan? In fact, the first people to fight for the liberation of South Sudan in the army of South Sudan. If you think I'm lying, go to the records of Dr. John Garang. He said it. 80% were the Nuer fighting for the liberation of this country. And now you want to sideline them and want to kill them the way you want? No. Truth be told. So the international community should not always sugarcoat. If you do not know, you do not have information, do not come online and try to confuse the world with wrong information. Right? Saying that Riek Machar, these forces are allied to Riek Machar, and no, there are no forces allied to Riek Machar. They are the youth of South Sudan who are fed up with their government for not treating them well, and they took arms against them to protect themselves, self-defense. This is how the fighting in Nasir started. And if we are not careful, this is going to happen in other parts of the country. Yes, if we are not careful, it's going to happen even in the Dinka areas. Leave alone that they say that the Dinka are in the government. No, it will happen. Because the youth and the general population is not happy. It is as simple as this. It is as simple as this. People are mad. This is a turning point in the Republic of South Sudan. If we do not, or if the government do not take it carefully and handle it well, because we are telling you for a long, long time, guys, the government, try your best. Try to treat people well. Try to make sure that South Sudan belongs to every citizen. It is a country that has not yet settled. Everybody has a war mentality. Yes, it is still a war mentality for everybody. People are not yet settled. People do not know what peace is. Not yet. There is no wealth to be protected. These are things that you should create. Instead of you building roads, instead of building schools so that people can go to school, as most of them as much as possible, to change their mentality, right? And make the economy even better so that if they have food, enough food, you can even convince them that there is something better for them. Now they are hungry. So an angry man is a hungry man, right? And on top of that is bad security. You want to kill them. And you want to take their guns also because they have communities with other guns, their neighbors have guns also. And the youth will fear that these people will come and take our cows. Or South Sudan will love cows. Or these people will come and attack us and kill our children. Who are their neighbors? If you want to do a DDR, a disarmament program, take your experts, ensure that you take you disarm communities at the same time. And that will need resources. All right? Neighbors, counties, the neighbors, disarm them at the same time. Leave no gun behind. But in a good way that you convince the youth that their security is guaranteed. South Sudanese, your security is guaranteed, give me your guns. Then after that, remove the army. They remove the army with the issue also. The other big issue is that the army is semi-trained. They go to a place, you think that, okay, when these people are vulnerable, I can take their women, I can kill them the way I want. I can, instead of protecting them, giving them that security, because you are the one who is in charge of that security, you are the one trying to disrupt them, to destroy their lives. So this army should be taken to the barracks. Unify the army, take this one to the barracks. This is the way forward I'm talking about. Okay? Take them to the barracks. Where in the world does an army live within the city, with the people, on their uniform, just moving on the street? Where? There's no excuse anymore. Because we have many years since independence, there are a lot of years that we could have, instead of using it on war, we should have used it to develop either the army and the nation, different institutions. There's no excuse anymore. So if South Sudan is destroyed today, the government is squarely to be blamed. If we go down our knees, or if we are disintegrated. Well, now I can tell you the youth are angry. People are angry. People are not happy. Okay? We are not happy at all. It cannot continue like this. Finally, what is the use or what is the need of when you have issues within your country, domestic issues, you go to East Africa to bring in the army. In this case, Uganda. It happened in 2013. The government brought the army to come and kill its own people, to fight its own people in the name of protecting the country. Again, now we know that Uganda, even confirmed by the head of the army in Uganda, Muhoozi, that Uganda forces are in Juba. South Sudan is trying to deny because it's a very shameful act. How can you take we have an internal issue, you bring an external army? How do you pay them? South Sudanese have not been paid for months. You want to bring them in and pay them, and you want South Sudanese to be happy with this, with you? What is the plan? This is a big, big insult. You are actually telling the SSPDF, the South Sudanese army, and all the soldiers in South Sudan, the liberators, who are wounded, that they are useless. They are not useful. They cannot take care of their country. They can not take care of their people, and they cannot maintain law and order and peace. And they are incapable. You are actually telling us, all the South Sudanese, that you are not able to do anything. That's why you are bringing an army. If you do not want to have insecurity in the country, just create peace. Give peace a chance. Bring everybody on board. There will no need to bring any army from outside. You will not fear anybody, because nobody will take arms against you. South Sudanese are good people, but you are turning them into animals, the way I see now, into different people. And with time, you will not believe this. This is a turning point. This is a turning point. I will say it again. This is a turning point. Not only in South Sudan, but in the region. Because now I see Uganda is always like bringing in the army to South Sudan bilaterally, with the agreement with the government of South Sudan, to come and kill the citizens of South Sudan. This will escalate even to Uganda if we are not careful. Because even the South Sudanese that you are killing also have their friends who will come for them and help them. And when that happens, we will have a regional war. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Even what is happening in the Congo, in DRC. Enough is enough. It is wrong to bring the army to South Sudan. Full stop. If you do not fear, you feel like you are the only man who can fight, always. Why you go and run always to bring an army when the youth act on you? In fact, there's no uprising yet. Because at some point soon, leave alone now that you are trying to tribalize everything, the army and everything else, trying to say, oh, the Nuer are the problem, or Equatoria. What you are using all the time. Now, I see even the Dinka youth are saying this, that this is not true. That very soon that everybody will take arms against you as the government. Everybody. And you will not survive. You have to learn from the things that are happening in the world right now. It's not the youth of those days. This is a different kind of generation. Remember when it was started by Mohamed Bouazizi on the 17th of October 2010 in Tunisia. It began the Arab Spring. And even the untouchable, like the president of Libya, of Syria, thought that they cannot, they will go through this. Look what happened. There is no dictator or a bad leader that lives forever. This is what you should know. There are so many examples, even in that Uganda. How bad was Idi Amin Dada? And how did he go? How long did he remain in power? So it is time that you rethink. If you are in the government or you are a minister, You're just trying to pat the back of the president and trying to give wrong advices. You better give him the right advices now. And he should see that if you guys fought, you elders who are in the government now, you are the one who fought for the country, who fought for the independence of this country. And you want to destroy it now, under your own watch. What is the reason? Corruption is there. We are not even talking about that. Because when you talk about that, you think that you are the liberators, you should hit. Because we, the younger generation, should not even talk. Because we did not fight for the liberation of the country. But at this point, I am saying, and even the people who globally should watch this one. This is a turning point for South Sudan. I understand rumorsly that you still want to go to Nasir and take your army there and to go and fight and all these things. Please, I am urging you not to make that mistake. Do not take the army there. Those are citizens. Give them time to heal. Negotiate peace, find time, better means later. To go across all South Sudan and remove guns from the citizens. But first of all, stop the political mayhem that is in the country. Create peace. Bring all the political groups that are outside the country, like President Ruto is trying to bring peace. That's what a good neighbor should do. Try to bring peace in South Sudan by negotiating peace. The Tumaini Initiative. These are the things that will help. Embrace this thing. Bring everybody back into the country. Then try to find a better way of developing the nation. Do not always just say, oh, Riek Machar this, Riek Machar that. This is not relevant anymore. Nobody buys this anymore. Okay? Riek Machar is in Juba now. Do you think those are the people who are fighting there? There's no Riek Machar there. Those are youth, families who are saying, you cannot kill our family all the time. We will protect them. And that's the nature of every human being, every man. You have to protect your children. If somebody come and attack you, you will protect yourself. Self-defense. 100%. And that's what they're doing. There's no Riek Machar there. So do not lie to the world that Riek Machar wants to spoil peace, Riek Machar wants to do this. You do not sleep because of Riek Machar. And the guy is you in Juba there. Well, do you think many people are with Riek Machar? The Nuer people are with Riek Machar? Man, give us a break. Give South Sudanese a break. South Sudanese want to live life. If you do not give South Sudan a chance, South Sudan will not give you a chance. And I tell you, you may end up disintegrating the country because now there are cause of people wanting to separate from the nation. Do not, and these are all out of frustration that you are creating. Do not blame anybody. Thank you very much for listening to this small advice. I was a bit emotional because I do not like seeing that South Sudanese are dying at this stage in time, whether they are the SSPDF or the people of Nasir or any other youth across the country. It is not deserved. At this point, we should be, those big guns, you should not kill, you cannot shoot them on your people. Those tanks, imagine. Wait for external aggression and then protect your nation. That would be understandable. And the youth will join. Remember the war you see the war in Ukraine? Every man joined. The youth joined the army and they went and fought together. That is the spirit of nationalism. Create that in South Sudan. Instead of killing them, destroying their lives, give them schools instead of giving them guns. Thank you.